Hi everyone and welcome to For the Love of Dogs. I'm Arthur Benjamin. Today without my co-host Farrah White. She'll be back next week. On today's show we'll introduce you to two of my favorite people who started Paws for People, Terry and Kyrie Henry. Plus what happens at home when you leave the house. Two dogs show us what they talk about behind your back. But first, How to Take Me Home Pet Rescue has found homes for over 1,200 dogs and cats since 2008. Elise Bissell is here, founder and executive director of Take Me Home Pet Rescue, and she is joined by her son Andrew and Marjorie Astorius, a longtime volunteer and board member. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And your three companions are?
This one is Spock.
Spock. And the one in your son's hands is?
Scotty.
Scotty. And we have over there?
This is Annie. She's
Annie?
a 2-year-old border collie.
How did she get on the Star Trek show?
She was an extra. Yeah, she was one of the red shirts.
Well, Scotty and Spock are very cute and very adoptable. I understand that that Spock's still available, but Scotty's been adopted.
Yep, Scotty has a home visit this afternoon. As soon as we leave the show, he's going to his new home.
Well, let's stand Spock up so that people can see what the little boy looks like. He's really cute tricolor, and he's up for adoption. And then, is Annie up for adoption too?
She is. She's a 2-year-old border collie mix. She's the sweetest dog we have in our program. She's very, very calm, as you can tell.
Yeah, she's very calm. She's very beautiful and very nice. And she made friends with Bandit instantly. And look at her, just hanging out with the show and feeling comfortable. So they're available. And good luck, Scotty. We wish you well. Elise, how and when did this all start for you?
Well, we can go way, way back or just a little bit back. Probably we'll just start more recent.
Leave your grandparents out of it.
I was born this way, pretty much. I would bring home every stray that I would see as I was growing up, and even when I was in college, I was dragging home animals that I'd find on the freeway and such. When kids would leave their apartments for the summertime when I was in college, I would pick up the animals that they would leave behind. And anyway, I guess it really got started seriously when Andrew was about 6. He's my youngest of 3, and we started going and hanging out at the Richardson Animal Shelter. And the kids and I would help walk the dogs and clean the cat litter boxes and socialize the animals. And then I started getting friends involved, and before I knew it, we had lots of friends involved, and we were taking the animals home. And then we needed fosters. And so it just kind of started growing.
So you saw a need in the community.
Absolutely.
And what's your mission?
My mission to
The mission of take
me home. Losing somebody over here. Our mission is to rescue dogs and cats from local shelters and off the streets and from other unfortunate situations, and try to rehome them, have them spayed or neutered and get them healthy, and to educate the public on how important it is to spay and neuter their pets.
Well, if you started in 2008, you've rescued about 1,200. That's about 300-400 a year. Are you on track for that this year as well?
Yeah, we're pretty steady. We're at about 130 right now, dogs and cats.
Marjorie, how long have you been volunteering?
I started out volunteering about 2.5 years ago. I was doing independent rescue, which was very expensive and very time-consuming, and I didn't realize that there were groups out there that could actually help me out. So,
well, I know you also do some work with Soy Dogs, who we've mentioned on the show before.
well, actually, I actually have a radio show, and I interviewed their global communications director, and that's how the American Dog Rescue Foundation came up in the conversation.
Well, we have a dog that actually was on a show a couple of weeks ago, and he's now living in Australia with his family, and Ellie Harris adopted him out of the Soy Dog Shelter in Bangkok. EARS, the Education and Animal Network here in EARS, EARS, in Dallas, fostered him.
Oh, wow.
And he was here for 6 months so that he could avoid the full 6-month quarantine in Australia, and he's made it most of the way through the quarantine in Australia now and is visited every day by Ellie Harris, his owner. So we're just thrilled that we're able to make that connection. But it was to make, like we're doing here with Take Me Home Pet Rescue, make soy dogs better known across the world. Speaking of Take Me Home, do you have any partners in Richardson?
We work very closely with the Richardson Humane Society. They specialize mostly in smaller dogs, and we tend to get the bigger dogs, so we share.
Share resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can you tell us about some dogs you have available?
Well, obviously these three, and we have about probably 60 dogs in the program right now.
6-0.
And we usually average about 100 pets at any given time, so we have about 40 cats and kittens. Just this week we took a dog from the Carrollton Animal Shelter that was on the euthanasia list. Her name's Laverne, and she needs an amputation. And it turned out she's also pregnant, so she won't be ready for a while. She's a little rat terrier. We also got a dog in this morning, another Australian Shepherd mixed puppy that had been hit by a car and attacked by a coyote. So he's at the vet today. His name is Lawson, and so hopefully you'll be seeing information on our website about him.
Well, that leads to the question of how you fund yourself. Those aren't cheap operations.
They don't come with money, unfortunately, no.
They don't come with a bank account.
No.
We advertise on Facebook, and we have a Razoo account that we post stories and request funds. We also have a very pretty strong support system. People see that we are in need and that they want to sponsor a certain pet, they'll donate.
We have about 8,000 fans on Facebook. And when we post a fundraiser, whether it's an event or it's an animal in need, they rally to our side. We always need money. We always need fosters
There's
and funds.
never a
So you need money.
Yeah.
Do you need foster homes?
Fosters and funds, two most
And
important
volunteers.
things. Volunteers, yeah.
Yep.
And all three of them can be useful to you and are needed by you.
Yes, we actually have an adoption center, which is rare among a lot of rescue groups here in the area. So
Where is it located?
on Campbell.
Yeah, it's 561 West Campbell Road, so on Custer and Campbell and Richardson.
So you have a full-time adoption center.
Yeah, pretty much.
And are there dogs there all the time?
No,
or
they're
that's where
just
they
there
go
on
to?
Saturdays.
Okay.
For the adoption events, so they're in foster homes.
Okay, and what's your dream for Take Me Home?
One day at a time. It's definitely more work than I ever imagined in my entire life. But because we do have some really awesome partners out there, and Duck Team 6 is one. I know they've been on the show a couple times. We work very closely with them. My dream is for the rescues to work together to try to help, resolve some of these issues that we have with the pet overpopulation that we're experiencing right now.
And is most of your work surrounding the Richardson area?
No, not at all. It just depends on who needs what, and if we can find a foster, if we have a foster volunteer, we'll take a dog or a cat from just about any area. But mostly it is North Dallas because we do home visits on all the dogs, and so it's just easier for us, the volunteers, not to have to drive too far.
Yeah, and I live in Irving, and we've pulled some dogs from Irving as well. So
Yeah, it's a lot of this. We get a lot of dogs out of Balch Springs because they don't have any kind of program. Where else?
we've pulled from Fort
Dallas.
Worth Shelter before, the Dallas Shelter.
Dallas
so-
shelters, a lot of the local shelters.
And 100 dogs at any one time?
100 pets total.
Dogs and cats?
Yeah, dogs and cats. These guys came from the Garland shelter. There were 9 of them, and they were split up between 3 different rescue groups. We took 4. So gives you any kind of idea. They were owner surrender. The family had a dog that had puppies, and they didn't want them.
Well, ladies, thank you both for being here, and Andrew, thank you for joining us today. If you want to find out more about Take Me Home Pet Rescue, go to takemehomepetrescue.com. Still to come, how Paws for People is helping not only people with disabilities, but veterans coming home from the war. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
My name is Teresa. This is Scooter.
My name is Amber. This is Duke.
I'm Dr. Dixon, and this is Annie.
I'm Emily. This is Jackson.
I'm Kelsey, and this is Skittles.
My name is Miko. This is Chloe.
My name is Ty. This is Callie.
My name is Tamar. This is Simon.
My name is Renee. This is Snowball.
My name is Dr. Miller. This is Fletcher.
My name is Eric. This is Sport.
My name is Stacy, and this is Britches.
And I'm a pet lover first.
And I'm a pet lover first.
Every year, families in North Texas unknowingly spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in support of neglect, abuse, and disease. When you buy a puppy from a parking lot or flea market, you could be supporting the cruelty of puppy mills that profit from dogs bred in abusive conditions. Help us stop the cycle. To learn how, go to spca.org/no-puppy-mills and take the puppy pledge.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she's actually not a morning person. I know she does strange tricks for no treats. I know that water makes her howl like crazy. I even know how the floor stays so clean. She's quick. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Well, where are you going, Bandit? One of my favorite dog organizations is Paws for People. It's an organization that has an amazing program that helps train and place dogs to help people with disabilities, as well as war veterans who come home from places like Afghanistan and Iraq with post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, and sexual trauma disorder. We recently spoke with Terry and Kyrie Henry. Kyrie had a vision at the ripe old age of 12, and it's a pleasure for me to chair their advisory board. But here's the reason why. Watch this.
So what was your vision when you were 12 years old?
It's really hard to remember being 12. I did finally get my first dog when I was 10. It took a lot of arm twisting and a lot of convincing, but I'm an only child, so I had a little leg up in that department. So it took me a long time to train him, to learn how to train a dog. He was very much an alpha, and he was probably outweighed me by the time he was a year old. So we had an adventure, and by the time I was 12, I was ready. He was behaving most of the time, and I was ready to say, you know, he needs to help people. I just remember having that idea. I wasn't really any more articulate than that. I really didn't have a vision or a dream so much as just knowing that that's what we were supposed to do. So we were able, with the support of my parents, driving me around to visit some people in nursing homes and hospices and hospitals, and that's really kind of how the ball started rolling.
And what did you think about this, Terry?
Well, at the beginning, I thought it was another one of those teenage fads that would rapidly dissipate and dissolve into nothingness, but wrong. And then a couple years into it, I actually got sucked into it. And when we started the school programs, I saw the effects the dogs had on the kids, and I started believing in what she was doing. And that's when I gave up the rest of my career and switched over to being dogs full-time.
So, school programs, what kind of school programs? That's something I didn't even mention.
That's really how we started our niche, and our forte is training educational assistance dogs. And when we would go into schools, mostly special education classrooms, the dogs weren't just there for break time, for fun time, for pet and grin therapy dog work. We worked with occupational therapists, physical therapists, and the teachers to incorporate the dogs into lesson plans and into the children's required IEP requirements for their special education requirements. And we integrated the dogs that way, so the dogs really boosted the children's productivity, their recovery, their therapies, and so that was really how we started out.
And at this point, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of kids that have been exposed to dogs.
Yes.
That's incredible.
That's a big number. It is.
It is.
That is
So,
incredible.
how did you progress to the next step of working with disabled kids?
I guess what happened was I went away to college and kind of left the school program and all the volunteers and volunteer dogs that we had acquired in my dad's hands, and just thought I was going to go away to college. Typical college experience. And you know, the Paws for People path kind of knocked on my door again and said, not so fast. The federal prison system is calling, asking if you can start a program within their institutions. And we didn't know how to do that. I remember we had a discussion. We were like, we don't have time, money, or experience to be doing that. And then my dad found online a program that had been in state prisons out west for a long time, and found the number of a 0% recidivism rate on inmates who had been in the program. And that's when we said, well, it's worth a try to train one more dog and help an inmate. Why not help an inmate like we've been helping these other populations?
So the prison program trains dogs for, at this point that we're talking about, disabled children
Right.
in prisons. They're prisoners who have qualified in the program to be part of, become a dog trainer and training dogs. And the outcome of that, at least in the program you found, was that prisoners who graduated or became former prisoners and were released, they just didn't come back.
Right. Right.
Well, that's an amazing contribution to the prison system, given
It really
that
is.
recidivism rates run 80-90%, and
Right.
here we're talking about 0 to 10%.
Right.
In fact, we have many of them now who actually volunteer full-time with us and help us transition the dogs to our clients. So what they've learned in prison, they thought was valuable enough that now that they're out, they're with us and they're helping us place dogs with children with disabilities and with the soldiers.
So there's the soldiers.
Yes. So, which is another organization that you have.
That's another branch. That's sort of evolved into my forte. She was the star of the show up until 2009, and then all of a sudden, veterans. And being one of those myself, it's and having had dogs as part of my recovery from PTSD for many, many years, it just became sort of one of those things that happened, and all of a sudden we're working with soldiers that are in the psychiatric ward, having a cocktail of 13 different drugs and 4 suicide attempts. And all of a sudden, within 5 months, we have that soldier back out into society, not integrated like he was before, but at least enough that he can function in society. And it just has evolved and snowballed from there to where right now it's about a 50-50 split. Kids or young adults and soldiers and veterans with PTSD.
Let's put a face on this. Why don't you talk a little bit about Jeff Mitchell or April in terms of what a dog's done for, well, let's take Jeff and his dog.
Tazzy. Jeff was a 2-time Iraqi veteran, came back and turned into what they call a cave dweller. He wouldn't leave the house. In fact, he lived the first 9 months out of the Army in the basement of his parents' house in total seclusion and blackout. He joined our program about 2 years ago. We went through the process of having a dog find him through the prison system. And then we went through about 10 months of working with him at the military bases. It didn't work out in the first part of it. We had to take the dog back, and he had to go into more in-depth work with his treatment team. About 4 months later, we had a dog that we'd rescued from Afghanistan who all of a sudden had got herself in trouble because of her doggy PTSD coming out of a war zone. And we sort of matched them, or the fates matched them up together. Now Jeff is, a year later, he just finished up, and Tazzy got her certification as a service dog, and Jeff is able to go out and interact, go to shopping, go to stores, go in front of a bunch of other former veterans and talk to them about his experience. He goes back to the VA psych ward where he was at one point and talks to those guys, and it's been a real evolution for him.
But Jeff, I saw him at your reunion event in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Jeff is actually becoming a leader in the program and spurs other people on to work with dogs and to move their dogs ahead in the program. And to take your phrase, he's no longer a cave dweller. He comes out and he goes to restaurants with his folks, and he can make it down to the Veterans Hospital for his weekly meetings, and Tassie and him are a good pair.
Yeah, in fact, Jeff, I think, would tell you if you were sitting here, his next step in life is to become what we call a mentor trainer for the other veterans that are in our program, to be their sort of lead by example, illustrate what can happen if you apply yourself, and learn how to use the dog to mitigate your symptoms.
So if we take this program, you train these dogs in prisons to, as I best recall it, 100+ commands, from turning the lights on and off to picking up a towel, or for somebody who's wheelchair bound, a credit card, a dollar bill they drop on the floor, a variety of different commands, and then you bump, I think is the best word, the dog's up against, and the dog chooses someone. And then you cut down on the number of commands. How does that work?
The last probably 4 to 6 months of a dog's training, any type of dog that we're training for either sort of clientele, is what we call customized training. So that's why we bump the dogs at a really early age. We don't match the dogs when they're done, so to speak, because we spend the rest of their training customizing them for what that person's needs are, as opposed to keeping them on a broad spectrum of training.
If you want to learn more, where are you going again? About Paws for People and Paws for Vets, or Paws for Prisons, visit their website. Go to pawsforpeople.org. We'll be right back with an inside look at what your dogs talk about when you leave the house and they chat behind your back.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Crow, and I'm a musician and a mother, and this is Buttercup. She's also a mother, but not by choice. She's a survivor of a puppy mill. Buttercup spent her life in a dirty wooden hutch, forced to produce litter after litter. She never went to a veterinarian or a groomer. She never had a soft spot to rest or a kind touch. She existed this way in cruel isolation year after year. Puppy mills are mass production factories where mother dogs suffer their entire lives, producing nearly 100% of puppies sold in pet stores and on the internet. When these dogs are no longer able to produce, they are often destroyed. Buttercup's nightmare ended the day Animal Rescue Corps saved her life. She finally knows what it means to have a loving family, but for the millions of dogs suffering in the estimated 15,000 puppy mills across the United States, this nightmare continues. Animal Rescue Corps and I ask you to visit your local shelter or rescue when choosing your next animal companion. You will not only be saving a life, you will be helping put an end to this cruel industry. Please go to animalrescuecorps.org to learn more about ending puppy mills. Buttercup and I thank you.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, welcome back. Sorry to interrupt Bandit's exercise program. When you leave your home, do you imagine your dogs talking to each other? Well, apparently, Target does. Watch this very funny video chat between two dogs who are thrilled at what their owner bought for them from Target.
Hey, I'm Fritz, and this is Chico.
Hi, everybody. What's up? Don't forget me.
Not your show, Fish. We're talking about the amazing haul our owner just brought us from Target.
Food. I love food. Fritz, I don't know why, but I just love food.
You know what? Me too, man.
Yeah, like my job as a dog is to host this show and eat.
Hey, leave some for the big guy.
What? What else is there? What
Well,
else
listen, we got all kinds of amazing
yeah.
stuff besides food. Let me see here. I got some treats over here. We got... Oh,
Careful.
my bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'll just put that back. No, I can't.
Did
do
you
it.
get anything from me?
No, never does. Stop asking. Now, looks like we got some new bow ties?
Yeah.
Guess those are for us.
Yeah, they are. Bow ties.
Yeah, really?
I love bow ties, because I feel like I'm going to the office.
We don't go to an office.
Is there one for me?
Last time, fish!
Okay. What the?
Oh!
Mailman?
I hate the mailman! Wait for me! Help me! Mailman! Get away from my door! Get away from my door! Get away from my door! My clockwork, that guy.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
It just comes over me.
Right over both of us.
All right, sorry about that. Let's get on track. Let's see what else we got.
Oh, let's see. Oh, here's a rawhide bone for you,
Rawhide.
and there's one big one for me.
Wait a minute.
And,
Ew.
whoa,
What happened, buddy?
squeaky toys.
Chico.
I love squeaky
I
toys.
know, Cheeks.
It's so squeaky. Look at this. No, don't look at it. I'm hiding it. I'm hiding it because it's mine.
You're digging in a cushion. All right, what's that you got there?
Shackle balls.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. It's pronounced shakeables.
Moving on. What do we have here? Advanced training pads. That puddle was you!
No.
You tried to blame that on me!
Yes, no, yes.
Chico!
This is my house. I go wherever I want.
That's
Yes!
not how it works.
Yes, that's it. I'm done.
That's all the time we have for this edition of For the Love of Dogs. Remember to keep up with us and the show online at AmericanDogRescue.org or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For all of us, including Farah, who's on vacation this week, but we'll be back next week, from all of us here at For the Love of Dogs, I'm Arthur Benjamin. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.